Novarish, the new rich. In the 90s, in Russia, that term applied to regular citizens who, in the very first time after the fall of the Soviet Union, were stronger, who had more energy and motivation, who could run faster and jump higher, who were luckier, who outran others in the race to grab riches, the prizes. And the riches they were. Oh, yes, they were. Imagine an entire country full of assets, such as factories, commercial real estate, mines, power plants, water treatment plants, infrastructure, stores, airplanes, trains, ships, well, fleets of airplanes and ships. The new country was full of assets, full of stuff that belonged to no one. How is that possible? Belong to no one? Well, all those assets had belonged to the Soviet government, to the Soviet Union. And then Soviet Union simply disappeared one night. We woke up literally one morning and Soviet Union, the old country, was no more. And people started grabbing their prizes. Oh, the entire country was up for grabs. Everything was up for grabs. The biggest golden rush the world had ever seen. Among those prizes, the most valuable ones were the ones that usually extracted minerals, mineral resources from Earth, such as oil, natural gas, ores, things like that. People who were able to claim ownership of those resources, oil rigs, gas pumps, they became instant billionaires, literally overnight. They became the novarish. In Russia, we call them the oligarchs. By that name, they are known in the West, by the way. The richest people in Russia and one of the richest in the world, because Russia is definitely the richest country in the world in resources. So in the 90s, the resources were the prizes. Well, but time went by and things started changing. They actually changed. Russia's president changed and the new guy had KGB background. At first, changes were slow, and then speed picked up, and then the changes became real big, and they were happening swiftly, very fast. The new type of riches appeared. The new type of the prizes. Oh, that prize is a sweet one. It gives you everything. It's called power. If you have power, you have everything else, and money really becomes no object. You don't have to have business to have money. You don't have to create product and sell it and promote it and grow it. You simply have to have power. So the new times brought new prizes, and the oligarchs, the mighty owners of Russia's resources, in the 90s, the mightiest people in Russia, the most important, influential people of the 90s, they all of a sudden shrunk in their power and in their influence and in their money. The new rich class appeared. Politicians, government officials, and people from law enforcement. KGB, police, state prosecution, courts. You don't really need mineral resources if you have absolute power over people. If you like something, you just go ahead, you come and take it away, and you just grab it, and it's yours. And it's that easy in Russia. The new prize appeared in Russia, power. And again, at first, it was up for grabs. Remember how Russian government works, stepping stones. This new system of power has developed over 15 years, not overnight. More and more power people were getting, and they were becoming more and more powerful, obviously. The new class of rulers appeared, those who outran others for the power grab. Those in power started simply taking away what others had been creating for decades. Some in special power got the ultimate prize: to control entire Russia's budget revenues. Why do you need oil rings, natural gas, ores, minerals, even gold and diamonds if you control taxpayers' money? Right now, I'll tell you how those in power use it to benefit from the war. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where I give you news updates that I find important and that explain what's really, truly happening in Russia right now. Inside Russia is where usual Russia explained by the unusual Russian. From the introduction, I hope you understood that what I'm going to be talking about the ones with absolute power who started the war with Ukraine, and the ones with great deal of power, a little bit below them, that are grossly benefiting from it. First things first, as proof of my words today, I give you the official statistics from Russia's Attorney General office. They released it in December. According to them, from January to September of 2022, last year, and that's the newest, freshest statistics that they had in the end of December, the courts of Russia received more than 8,700 criminal cases of corruption. That's 10% more than in the same period of 2021. Even the official statistics, that usually does not give us, well, how do I put it right? Covers things up, usually. Things that need to be covered up. Even the official statistics shows that there has been an increase, significant increase in the corruption, criminal investigations, charges, perhaps verdicts. Now, let's talk about how those in power are benefiting. Let me shed you some light on how hundreds of millions rubles, perhaps trillions, are stolen using war as a smokescreen right now, or should I say using the war as the resource to steal. I've identified a few ways how that is done, how some stealing money, Russia's money, Russian taxpayers' money using war. Let's start with the military-industrial complex. The military-industrial complex of Russia consists of hundreds, perhaps of tens of thousands enterprises, and I don't want to zero in because this is a secret information, and I could get into big trouble by releasing names and such. So I'll just give you the general information. There are lots of plants, factories, research institutes that supposed to research and manufacture new weapons and everything that is needed by Russia's Ministry of Defense, responsible for defending Russia from the enemies. There are too many enterprises to mention, really. And the scheme is very simple. And it's been working it's working not just now, but it's been working over, 15, 20 years. The government gives money to research new products, new tanks, new planes, new ships, new technologies, new weapons, and everything that is needed by the Ministry of Defense. And researchers claim that they do research, they show progress on paper, and they require more and more money. It's easy to say that they milk the government. They've been milking the government over decades. Decades later, turns out that nothing has been researched. Result is zero. Or sometimes things are researched and manufactured on paper. And there's quite a lot of things. If you look at the papers, that have been submitted as a result of researches of military enterprises over the last decade, you'll see that Russia has tons of newest and most technological equipment. Russia is leading the world. Russia's army is well equipped and, gosh, it's deadly, stealthy, fast. Just let's take a look at the infamous Armata tanks. And let's take a look at the Su-35 jet fighter planes. I've seen Armata. I've seen in the parades, military parades, I think twice. And they actually do exist. They are secret. No one knows what's inside. There have been hundreds of billions of rubles, over 200 billions rubles spent to research them. And they actually exist. I think 2 or 3 of them, the prototypes. The rumors have it that during a test run, they do 2 parades for the 8th of 9. They do like a test parade for the all military equipment a few days before, and then they do the real one, the big one, the official one on May 9th. So I heard that Armata actually was shut down right in front of Mausoleum in the middle of Red Square in one of those test parades because something was broken there. Was in the news. So Armatas, they kind of exist, but where are they? Where are hundreds and hundreds of Armatas? Are they defending Russia in the Ukrainian soul? The money, plain and simple, they've been stolen. Su-35 fighter jets, I also saw them fly. There were a few. And back in 2010, I believe, Vladimir Putin signed a presidential order to supply Russian army with hundreds of Su-35 jets in the following years. It was a long time ago. Are there any Su-35s flying in the Russian skies? Where's the money? Well, these enterprises of military-industrial complex, they are controlled by Ministry of Defense and government branches near that are close to Ministry of Defense. So you do the math. You put 2 and 2 together. It's a bottomless pit for the Russian budget, and no one really has responsibility. No one bears responsibility because the budgets are often secret. They cannot be investigated by anyone because they consider it national security matter. Way number 2, defense budgets. This is the current development, and this is a genius one, really. Strange things started happening in Moscow in late summer and early fall of 2022 last year. New bomb shelters started being constructed. Well, not really constructed. They started appearing all over Moscow. All over Moscow. And other cities too, I'm pretty sure. The one I heard was Moscow. I know for sure because in where I lived in Moscow, they also have a new bomb shelter nearby. These new bomb shelters, they look really strange. Rows of real cheap chairs in large apartment block basements. And that's it. That's it. Rows of chairs. That's the reality. But on paper, I'm pretty sure that they have palaces. Those bomb shelters are stocked with everything needed: food, water, first aid, medicine, anything that it is needed for survival of a large number of people. And perhaps such bomb shelters are on paper built someplace else. In reality, there's just rows of cheap plastic chairs in the basements. This who controls the budgets and spending on those bomb shelters? Well, how much money they have spent on creating those new bomb shelters? Well, you know what? We don't know. No one knows, because there are new federal laws that make that information strictly confidential. Regular citizens, the taxpayers that pay for these bomb shelters, including the bomb shelters, they just, according to these new laws, they don't need to know. It's the war. Local authorities who run the cities, who run the districts, municipalities on the ground, so to speak, they organize the construction of the bomb shelters, or at least they take part in that construction. And all the money for the construction, for creating these bomb shelters, goes through them. This is not just Moscow. I have seen it in Moscow. Before I left, they started doing it. But they also do that in other cities all over Russia. Imagine money they're spending on paper. Number 3, moving on to number 3, the war rush. In the last, I'd say 7-8 months, there has been a war rush. As you know, Russia annexed parts of Ukraine, and there are 4 new provinces, so-called New Russia's lands. And let me tell you, there are tons of people who are rebuilding things there. But again, they're rebuilding on paper. They are spending lots of money. The Russian government has a huge budget, right? And it gave lots of money, billions of rubles, to rebuild the new territories. The new territories are run by the local authorities, so those local authorities, they receive the money and they spend the way they need to spend it, okay? It's new people, new schemes, and all kinds of people from all over Russia have flown to this territory to make a quick buck, a quick ruble. People without conscience, I'd say. They don't have to build anything, but they have to take part in the schemes. They have to say that they built on paper. Some people say, oh yes, it was built. We witnessed it and signed the papers. People must accept, the supervisors from the government, they must accept it on paper. And then they all say something like, oh, there's a rocket flew by from Ukrainian side and destroyed everything. There's nothing left, okay? That just shows you what kind of shady business is going on in the new territories. That is a bottomless pit that is not controlled by anyone, but hundreds of billions of rubles are being pumped there. Moving on, number 4, the Government Development Program Masters. Last year, most all Western companies, the holders of technology, the holders of products, advanced products, they left Russia. They don't do business in Russia anymore. And it turned out that we in Russia didn't really manufacture anything ourselves, not even cars. Whatever we manufactured, we used foreign parts a great deal. We assembled, all right. Assembly was possible, and lots of Russians were involved. But once those parts stopped flowing into Russia, it turned out that we don't, we can't do anything, nothing. We can't even manufacture nails. We don't, we can't do anything, nothing. Nails. We don't manufacture nails, my friends. That's crazy, but that's true. Well, the government is really worried about that because that's one of the big problems of the country. And the government knows only one way how to fix things, to give money to people so people spend the money and build things. Not the free economy, not to promote competition, not to loosen laws, regulations, not to promote entrepreneurship. No, but just to give money. And it's giving money, all right. There are lots of grants, there are lots of credits, government credits, and there are lots of aids. There are different programs. And the programs are controlled by different ministries, by different government bodies. And the scheme is very simple. People show up and they claim they have a business plan. They submit a business plan, and they are given money, but they must return half of the money to the people who give them money. And those who claim to work according to the business plan, they simply disappear. They go to live in another country or whatever. I know a couple people here in Uzbekistan who did that. I don't associate with these people. I overheard stories. I find it absolutely dishonest. I myself would never do anything like that. But it's being done on a mass scale right now. That's one of the methods how people are profiteering and stealing money. Moving on, number 5. Good old simple stealing. Well, sorry, not stealing. Nationalization. Nationalization. That's what's going on in Crimea right now. I learned that today, well, a couple days ago, deputies of the Crimean City Council adopted a resolution on the nationalization of the property of foreign citizens in the region. Plain and simple. What foreign citizens owned, let's take away from them because they don't deserve, they're not worthy, they're foreigners. And they just did. Oh, they did, The list of properties, the assets of objects, facilities to nationalize consists of 500 facilities. In particular, the deputies decided to nationalize the assets of Ukrainian businessmen Rinat Akhmetov, Igor Kolomoisky, Sergei Taruta, Arseniy Yatsenyuk, as well as the property of 12 Ukrainian banks and Dynamo Kiev Football Club. Go figure. Well, in reality, it happened like that. Someone liked the facilities, assets. Oh, I like that hotel they have. Nice. I'd like to have it, Oh, I like... they have a nice factory over there. Well, they're in Ukraine. They don't need it anyway. So they made a law that allowed for nationalization. Let me quote, the work of Anti-Terrorist Commission to identify the properties of accomplices of Kiev regime in Crimea will continue. We will not allow those who sponsor murders of our soldiers, crimes against Russian people, civilians to earn money on our land, said Vladimir Konstantinov, Speaker of the Crimean State Council. Well, one question. I wonder who all that nationalized property will go to. Definitely not the government, definitely not the budget. Perhaps it'll be sold for peanuts. I'm just making suggestions, who knows? Most likely I'm wrong, but you know what? I will follow the news and I'll let you know later. Moving on. What I just said above, before, all those different schemes, all those different ways, channels to funnel money from the government budget to pockets of, politicians, judges, the government officials. That's a lot of money. We're talking about, I'm pretty sure, hundreds of billions of rubles, tens of billions of dollars. That's a lot. But the real big money, real big price, if we follow it, it takes us right to the very top. Now, a disclaimer. I cannot talk about the very, very top, the top of the top, the one and only. I can't talk about people like the Minister of Defense, the President, the Parliament Speaker, and the big figures, because I really don't know anything of them. I don't know what assets they have. This is it's not even a secret. It's like this information does not exist anywhere, okay? All I know that they receive their salaries, nothing big. I think Putin makes like $10,000 per month or something like that, not much. And they pay taxes, of course, from their salaries, and they are supplied everything by the government. Cars, driver, expenses, housing, and stuff like that. So other than that, I don't know anything. But I'm just a small guy. I haven't done any investigations, and I don't want to do. And I don't want to name names because I'd be in trouble so fast. But there are other people who actually have investigated. I suggest, if you want to learn about the very, very top of Russia, what they own, how they funnel money, and so forth, you just Google Panama Papers and look under Russia section. And everything is there. Well, I'm pretty sure not everything, but a lot enough to understand the magnitude of... Like I said before, the price of modern Russia is power. And more power you have, the more money, the more assets you take home at the end. And don't forget, those most homes of those people with absolute power, they're not in Russia, they're outside of Russia. The absolute power gives you absolute money. And what the price of the very top who manages Russia, the senators of upper chamber, lower chamber of parliament, the ministers, the deputies, all people who have real power. Because in the government, some people have real power and some don't. Okay, some have more, some have less. So the ones who have real power, they get the real price. Because what I said before, we're talking about lots of money. Money going from one place, Russian budget, to different companies and going to pockets of people. Okay? But those people with absolute money, they make the decisions of what comes out of the Russian budget. You see, all those streams that go from, through Ministry of Finance, well, Ministry of Finance decides everything. The decisions made by different bodies of the government, the financing for different programs of different government bodies, the programs, the aids, the grants, the constructions, everything is controlled those with absolute power, and they certainly take their cuts. What's been happening in Russia lately? Well, I'm not even talking about Ukraine. Ukraine it's devastation. It's unfairness of galactic proportion towards Ukraine, in Ukraine, But in Russia, also tragedy has been happening because country is basically going to hell. And people on the very top, they have made decision to send it to hell, and they're just pushing it forward, so to speak. And economic device is one of those wheels that is running on the way to hell. And they're the ones who are running it. They're the ones who are benefiting. I saw them real close. My personal experience, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Dubai. I stayed at a hotel right in front of homes, very, very expensive homes on the Palm Dubai of Russian politicians. They had a private concert. I was absolutely heard. I could hear everything they were saying from my hotel. They had a celebration of 2022. They were saying it's the best year they ever had. Well, that's probably most money they ever made, but to them, it's the best year that they ever had. I saw those people, okay? They steal in Russia and they take it someplace else for their families and themselves to live. And to them, well, they're having a great time financially. But to the rest of Russians, it is a demise. It is an economic crisis. It's loss of jobs. It's loss of living. It's, families splitting apart because of financial problems. It's not being able to buy things for children, wives to support family members, personal tragedies, okay? And some people, it's the end of their lives because of that. So war is always the same. The rich and powerful ones profiteer, and the poor ones are stick with the bill at the end. In Russia, this is a perfect example. Please look at us, learn from our mistakes, and never make your own. And that has been my message. Thank you so much for coming and giving me a chance. Thank you for watching and listening to me. I would like to ask you to give me feedback. Please comment. If you want to ask questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Before I turn on the comments, I'd like to ask you two things. Please help spread my message by making reposts in your social media accounts, and join my Telegram channel called Inside Konstantin's Russia. That way I can easily keep you updated on things happening on the channel. And before I turn on the comment, I'd like to warn you that there are a couple scammers trying to, using my name, they knocking on people's telegram doors, so to speak, and offering them to invest into something. I never offer anyone to buy anything or to invest. So if you hear from anyone who calls himself Konstantin inside Russia offering, a great deal on something, then you can be sure it's not me. You can see me at daily on the stream. You can log in and in the comments ask me if you have a question about anything. If someone offering you, and you definitely can knock on my Telegram's door to ask directly. I was given a heads up from one of the users. Thank you so much. You know who you are. It's not me selling. Please be careful. And turning the comments on right now. Hope you liked my message and found it useful and valuable. If you don't see the comments, please refresh your page and you should see them. As I am seeing them now, I'm seeing that Lorna and Mommy are here. You are always number one. Thank you so much. And the other mods, thank you very much for joining. Bob, Harry, Black Cat, and Amir, howdy, howdy. The usual suspects, thank you so much for coming. Howdy. Thank you. Great to see everyone. I would like to jump right into the comments and questions so I can answer more. So if you want me to notice your comment or question easier, please put it in caps and put inside Russia after @ so it appears in a large orange box for me. So it kind of jumps right into my eyes. I switched from rooibos tea to regular classic standard English breakfast because it seems that I have some kind of allergy for rooibos and my nose starts running about 40 minutes every time after I start drinking rooibos. So this is English breakfast. This particular one is Twinings. Beiratus, first question. Do you consider groups like the Freedom of Russia Legion, National Republican Army that have different ideologies from liberal to conservative fighting with UA to be legitimate? Well, I don't really know much about them, so I don't know what to answer. To legitimate. Well, if they exist, legitimate in the eyes of who? I didn't really get the question. Lando Plenty, howdy, howdy. Fellow Mainer. Maryland, USA. Bobby, Sam K, howdy. Again, reading the comments in caps. Hey, we have David Porter from Ukraine. Hello, David. Great to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. I hope that you find information that you see here valuable. We're meeting Ukrainians on Sunday morning. They're joining Russian-Ukrainian Breakfast Club. We actually had one first American, came from Brooklyn, New York, visited our club. He's residing here temporarily in Uzbekistan, doing some business, heard about the club and showed up. It's fantastic. So it's becoming an international club. Instead of just first it was Russian, then Russian-Ukrainian, then Russian-Ukrainian-American. So it's really international breakfast club. So, again, great to see everyone from Ukraine. Jacksonville, Florida, Mark Brantlat, howdy. New Brunswick is really cold these days. Canada, Nova Scotia, Alan, Michigan, Andrew Hodson, South Africa. Well, South Africa is not that cold these days. Pacific Beach is nice. Charlie. Liz Dumbrell, great to see you. Howdy, howdy. Agata Staniak, good to see you holding up relatively well despite current overall situation. As for scammers, well, as you keep gaining popularity, it'll be more frequent. So good you have warned people. Well, this is the first time I got aware of scammers actually trying to act as if they're me, and I'll be warning people a lot. I'll probably put something in the description of the channel so more and more people are aware of that. Just use your common sense, folks. Please don't fall for the scams. Theodore from Scotland, howdy. New Zealand in the house. I have an die puff. Oh, I huff and I puff. There you go. Carino, good question. I think corruption happens in all governments, maybe not to extent it happens in Russia, but as you say, power corrupts. That's actually a very good statement. A lot of Russians I've spoken to, they said to me, "Oh, Russia is corrupt. All right, the politicians are corrupt, but do you think that other countries are different?" And you know what? And I always told them, yes, they are. Because I know I lived 9 years in the United States, in Maine. And you know what? Guess what? The corruption does take place in the United States, quite a bit of it, but not at the level that corruption happens in Russia. Not even close. This is the corruption in the United States, and this is the corruption in Russia, perhaps even like 5 times bigger. The corruption is the system that Russia lives on, is built on. Okay, that's the problem. That's the fundamental problem of the country. Putin said it many times. Russia's biggest problem was corruption back then. Now everyone forgets about corruption. Russia's biggest problem is enemies around, Of course, forget about corruption. Gianna Steinberg, thank you so much for your support. No message, but this message is powerful enough. And Julie W. has just given sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you, Julie, from me and from 5 people. By the way, tomorrow is Saturday, and it will be a private live stream for sponsors, the new sponsors, the old ones, the existing ones, and for patrons. So please come and join the private sponsorship chat. This is my way of thanking you for being my sponsors. I cover a number of issues. I answer questions. It's much more relaxed stream. It's slower paced, and usually I speak on many more personal issues. Cheryl Watley, I was unclear last time. I meant lies told about Ukrainians led to terrorizing people in bedroom communities. Bucha, Irpin, etc. Well, okay, thanks for clarifying. Ragnar Rochik. Hey, buddy, I would like to ask you about Vadim Gigin. He is threatening my country, Slovakia, with a missiles attack. So I want to know who the hell he is. Thank you for your content. Well, let me... Ragnar Rochik. Look, you got me here. I don't know who Vladimir Gigin is. I'm gonna... Just give me 1 second. It needs more time. But you know what? Don't really worry about that, because as I was explained, I was asking people in Russia, why do politicians make such outrageous statements? They actually make the baseless claims in order to get noticed. There's actually a rating inside this politician's body, inside the parliament. They keep the rating of who says what publicly. And the more outrageous the stuff they say is better for the rating. So it's kind of their job to go out publicly and say things, oh, let's wipe out France. Let's wipe out Slovakia with nuclear bomb. Well, but don't worry about it. It's one of those, I was going to say people, but, instead of people, put another word. I don't want to curse here. Black Cat, thank you. We need mom at prayer again. Miss her. Thank you so much. She's enjoying her new iPhone 11. I bought her. Real cheap, a good deal. About $400 restored. Brought from Kazakhstan. I asked, like, isn't it, like, what's going on? In Russian stores, if you go and buy it, about $700-800. If you buy restored from Kazakhstan, it's like $400. It's pretty insane. Lendo Plenty. Do you know not one member of Russian leaders has ever been in the military, including Minister of Defense? I made a stream about that. One of the the Speaker of Russian Parliament suggested to make a law that politicians, in order to become a politician, you must serve in the Russian military. And everyone started laughing because Putin, the president of Russia, the speaker himself, the minister of defense, many in the leadership of Ministry of Defense, and most Russian politicians, they did not serve in the army. So if the new law is passed, the Putin has to resign, the minister of defense has to resign and be replaced by someone else. So I've heard that. Trust me, I've covered it in the streams. Jason Carney is back with a bang. Thank you so much, Jason, for huge support. Every time, I don't know how to thank you. Thank you for being serial super chatter and supporter. Thank you. Lori Lane, I get scammers from Telegram commenting on my posts a lot. They try to scam a lot. Well, I'm sorry about that. I guess the more people subscribe to the channel, the more traction, the more attention I get, I attract. It's a natural way of things. That's how it works, I was told. Ilse Carr, greetings from South Africa, home of Rooibos. I'm not drinking Rooibos today because my nose starts running. I think it's because of Rooibos, because it happened, like I eliminated everything, like all possible irritants, except for the tea. I drink tea, in 40 minutes my nose starts running. I don't drink tea, everything's fine. I'm not congested. It's really strange. So we'll see. Mark Bramlett, guess Russia doesn't have any validation of funds spent. Russia never had any validation in your sense of understanding. Russia had audits from the government, from KGB, from police, audits for criminal activity, for corruption, for spending not for the purpose that needed to be spent on. So the audits, but now no more audits, because this is the wartime, and politicians openly say it's not time for audits. Let's just forget about audits. They just slow us down. We need to be fast. We need to be effective and so forth. So validation is no. Ovi Thompson from Denmark, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. No message, and money is a very strong message in itself. Dave Strains is here. Howdy. We have a new sponsor, Andreas Benz. Howdy. Sweden in the house, super Swede. There's another super chat from Jana Stenberg. Thank you so much. Thank you, appreciate it for the second time today. Beirutus, second question. What do you think about the Congress of People's Deputies, which positioned itself as the only representative body who has democratic legitimacy from Russian citizens? I'm not sure I understand the question. What Congress of People's Deputies? Russia has executive power, that's the president, and the government, the prime minister, and the ministries. It has legislative branch, that is Russian parliament, and it has Supreme Court. Was it judicial? What Congress of People's Deputies? I'm not sure. Second Chinese balloon spotted over Canada. Now what? Look, I saw it in the news, in the Western news. What's going on? I'm not sure. So that China is sending its hot air balloons? For what? To spy on Canada? What's there to spy on? How Canadians train their ice hockey players? Chinese want to play hockey too. Taco lover, good to see you, buddy. When was the last time you had a good taco? Not too long ago, my friend. Welcome back. Thank you so much. I had a great taco in Dubai. Fantastic food, just like the USA. Any kind of Western food you can ever imagine. They had great Mexican and great taco. The hotel, first hotel we were stayed at, we frequented the Mexican restaurant and I had tacos. Oh, good. But they weren't Mexicans making them, the Indians. The guys from India or Pakistan, I'm not sure. Lando Plenty has just given sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you, appreciate it. Harry Potter, nice to see you. Hello, everyone, says Janine. I talked to our brain surgeon friend before the stream today. He said thank you again for your help. Grumpy Bird, thank you so much for the wishes. Crumble, guten Tag, well, guten Abend. Ragnarocek, hey buddy, I would like, Gideon, passed that question already. Saskatchewan, Canada, hooked by Donian. Howdy, howdy, must be cold in Saskatchewan right now. By the way, it's Friday, Saturday, right after midnight. It's a hit. Thank you for your super chat. So I hope everyone had a good work week. Everyone have a great weekend. Saturday just begun here in Uzbekistan. It's 2 a.m. right now, 1:59. Was a tough week. Every week is a tough week, these days. Andrew Hodson, minus 26 degrees at the moment. Holy moly. Minus 26 degrees. Salmon of 5. Constantine, can you talk about the corruption in Ukraine? Isn't it off the charts? All right. I'm not the one who asked for it. Please take a note. Let's talk about the corruption in Ukraine. I know quite a bit about Ukraine. Michael Schultz. Hi, all your typical suspects. Hello, Michael. Great to see you. Thank you so much. My channel is about Russia. I concentrate on what's inside Russia. I know Russia quite well. I'm a Russian citizen. And you know what? I have a feeling that I kind of have no right to talk about Ukraine. Because Ukraine, before I would, now I don't want to talk about it. Ukraine has a good share of its own problems. Set aside the war and everything, Corruption is a huge problem. It has always been. I spent a year in Ukraine. I worked in Kharkov, in Kiev, in Odessa. I know what I'm talking about. Incredible level of corruption. Probably more corrupted than Russia. Perhaps on the same level, some place. But you know what? I don't speak of that because it's none of my business. This war has taught me a lesson. I should mind only business inside my own country. Russia should mind business inside Russia. Russian government has a responsibility over Russian people to provide good living for Russian people, to help run the country. It has no right to poke its nose into Ukraine. They can do anything they want in Ukraine. They can have corruption up to yin yang. You know what? That's fine with me because it's Ukraine and it's up to Ukrainians to stand up and basically take care of it. It's none of Russia's business, and it's none of my business to talk about the corruption in Ukraine. Okay, plain and simple. I can tell you that's plenty of corruption. But what is corruption compared to what's happening in Ukraine now? Why would we talk about corruption in Ukraine now? Once peace is established, once people rebuild, once, I don't know, everyone heals, if it's possible, then talk about Ukraine, corruption in Ukraine. But there are bigger problems than the corruption. Veronica, you having a better day as you look more upbeat. Veronica, I kind of am having a better day because of, well, I didn't hear any horrible news like Russia has bombed all over Ukraine again. Russia bombed shopping malls. Russia bombed, Russia killed people and stuff. I didn't hear any of this news. And that already makes me somewhat feel better. And every day is like a roller coaster, emotional roller coaster, up and down. Today is somewhat up. Couple days down big time. Beginning of the week was down. So today is a little bit up. Weekend helps too. We're going to have Ukrainian couple, actually 2 Ukrainian families coming over on Sunday to join the Breakfast Club, and possibly the American guy from Brooklyn. And we also have couple visiting guests, couple visiting stars that you might have heard of. Perhaps I will even make a short stream tomorrow morning with them, if allowed by them, because they're such big stars. I'm not sure that I'd have to ask permission, see if they allow it or not. So please stay tuned. There might be an unexpected stream tomorrow around 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Moscow, Tashkent time. Moscow. Jeez. I'm so used to living in Moscow. Moscow time. No Moscow time for me anymore. Tashkent time. A pinned message in Telegram might be useful. Oh, thank you for a great idea, the underdog. Thank you. KG1, could Putin be getting false information about how well the war is going by all these corrupt individuals? Yes, he can. Yes, he can be getting false information. And you know what? One of the theories, I'm not sure if it's, how true that is, but it kind of makes sense, is that decision to attack Ukraine was based on the false information that was fed to him and others by some people. And that can make sense. But he can't say, hey, you know what, I didn't know that. I didn't know they were Nazis, and I learned it already into the war, because if he admits mistake, he's done. He's not the leader of Russia anymore. So he can't admit it, even if he did make this mistake, and if he understands that he made a mistake. I don't know. Justeri, how do these thieves us rubles in other countries? You mean send? How do they send? Oh, there's plenty of ways. You can launder lots of money. Well, not even launder, but you can make clean money. For example, you set up a foundation, non-profit foundation, and it's controlled by your people, and you are responsible for giving money to different non-profits. And then, among others, you give your own, that is controlled by you through proxy people. You give it, $15 million, $20 million, whatever. And they order some services, researches, for example, at the companies that also belong to you. And those companies that provide the product, they do research for lots of money. And those companies pay taxes on the money that they receive. So it's clean money. It's legal, okay? And so what's illegal in this scheme is initial granting the money into this whole chain initially, But no one's going to touch you. No one's going to investigate you because you are high up, And step number 3, money is perfectly legal. Money is clean, transparent. Taxes are paid. And that company sends money to Dubai. And that company has a bank account in Dubai. Money comes to Dubai. Hey, you can send it all over the world. It's clean. You can explain how you made it. And that's how they work. It's not like they take illegal cash and run with it or put in suitcases and bring it somewhere. No, everything they make it transparent, clean, perfectly legal. Google this term called Panama Papers and go into Russia section. Lando Plenty. Konstantin, USA says Putin is the richest man alive. Again, you are saying that. I am not. If I say that and I give you the proof, I don't live on the first floor, I don't want to slip and fall out of the window, stuff like that. But, I can't disagree with you. You are saying that. Okay. Philip Joy. Thank you, Konstantin, for your prayers, which helped me. May God continue to be with you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you. I'm glad they helped. Thank you for the support. Pietra Z, have you heard half Russian has to leave Turkey? I wish we could help. I feel sorry for this nice family. Well, we helped already, half Russian. I helped a couple times and I sent my own money. I gave a shout out on this channel, and I know that quite a few members sent him money through Western Union, and I kind of doubled that money from my money. I hope they do well. I hope they find a place to stay. They have had plenty of time. I am feeling sorry for them and for all Russian families with kids who are in their position. They need to find home as soon as they can. Tyler Anderson, what orange box? Only donations are in orange boxes? No. If you put @ and right immediately after @ you put inside Russia, then for me it appears in a large orange box. Agata, Agata. I have some experience with Ukrainian students expecting daily small corruption to be the norm in Poland, and it isn't anymore. They were shocked, so I suppose Russia might be similar in this regard. Yes, yes, and yes. That gives you the sense of how corrupted Ukraine and Russia, they're pretty much same level. Yes, daily corruption. You need to pay, I don't know, cops. You need to pay people who check your businesses, things like that. Small payments, But it happens. It happens in Russia and it happens in Ukraine. So Agata, you are spot on. Look, you understand exactly what I was talking about. Gosh, even like school teacher, kindergarten teachers, you have to buy presents for them. You don't have to bribe them or anything, but if you have to buy presents at certain days, the Teachers' Day, all parents of teachers give like 10, 15, 20, 50 bucks, I don't know, $100, and then they buy a nice present to the teacher. That's kind of customary, you know what I mean? You have to give money, cash, to school for them to buy different, like kindergartens, to buy toys, things like that. How much money actually goes to toys and how much is going some other places, no one knows, okay? This is what I'm talking about, like daily corruption like that. Ukraine 100% had that. I'm not sure how they're faring during the war right now, that probably they have much bigger problems to worry about and care about, but before they did. But you know what? Who am I to poke nose into Ukraine? Lando Plenty, thanks for another great message. Well, look, thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting, and thank you for being here. Rick Michalik, the USA is the same. They go into office as middle class and come out millionaires. Rick, with all my due respect, like I said, corruption does exist, but the level of corruption is absolutely different. Putin was counting on oligarchs, developers to buy up a lot of land and surviving property for redevelopment. That happened in Crimea. But it's a new twist to simply take the money and run. Yeah, cannot disagree with you. That's what it is. Montreal, Quebec, Cindy Krypton. Howdy. Bonjour. I've really been enjoying your videos. It's my first time live. Well, welcome to the live. Thank you so much for coming. Glad to hear your breakfast club is turning international. It has turned international. Russians, Ukrainians, and Uzbeks, obviously. There are quite a few locals in the club. We made friends with the locals, and now first American. Mommy, thank you. Saturday member stream 12 noon Eastern time, New York time at noon. But like I said, around noon Uzbek time, which is early morning in Europe. I think it's like 7-ish, 7 or 8 in Europe. And it's going to be late at night in the USA, but there's no way around it. I might make a make-up stream, so to speak, because we have two pretty cool people come in. Well, they came already to Tashkent, and then they're going to show up for the breakfast tomorrow. And Whitney watched the episode of Vasya in the Hay. You know what I want to do? I want to help Vasya in the Hay. I just had this idea. He is a great guy. He does find people in need, and probably they need help. Thermodynamics, America's political donor system is pretty seriously corrupt. Well, it's far from perfect, I can tell you that. But again, who am I to poke my nose into America's political system. Okay, we should take care of our own system in Russia first, and then teach others, because only then we can teach others. We can't even teach others, but we can show by our example, if you know what I mean. Before that, before we settle things inside Russia, we have no right, no moral right to do that. Land of Plenty has given another gift of sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you, my dear fellow Mainer. Thank you so much. By the way, I will tell you the story of my computer. It's back. Back with a bang. My friends, I'm going to show you something. Those who have followed me, you know my misadventures with the screen. It's working now. Huh? Brand new. So tomorrow in members stream, in sponsors and Patreons, you will hear the entire story, the truth about the travels of my computer. James Jones Rames, they are now selling yuan reserves that won't last long if oil keeps going down. How many times I've been talking about the economic tsunami? Yes, they are getting close to empty now. There are still reserves left from last year, because Russia had been doing fantastic selling oil and gas, and it had accumulated lots of reserves, 7.5 trillions of rubles. By December 31st, I think 4.5, almost 5 trillion of rubles were gone. And now Russia, by month 6 of this year, it'll run out of the reserves. So they'll sell everything off, okay, to keep economy afloat. And after that, they will not have money to pay teachers, doctors, policemen, KGB. Well, they'll find money to pay salaries to KGB and policemen, but they won't have money to pay university professors, academicians, pretty much everyone. There are tens of millions of people who get paid by the government, and the government will not have, and the pensions, the retirement money that people get paid every single day, government pays them. They will not have money to pay them that. So, like I said, that's the economic tsunami. It's taken a longer time, but it's coming. It's here. It starts hitting. It has started hitting already. It's gonna worsen. Cheryl Watley on 1420 channel, a girl said Russians are more free than Americans because in Russia you can pay a bribe and get away with anything. Well, the girl is right in the second statement, and the first statement, she's wrong. It's not freedom. It's power. This is what I started my stream with. I hope you watched it. Because used to be business. Everyone who grabbed resources was rich, was calling shots, was influential. People with most money ruled. But then everything changed. People with most power started ruling. But when you pay a bribe, you basically exchanging your money onto the power. That's it. You buying power with your money. That's what a bribe is, plain and simple. A cop stops you, you speed, and, all you do is you pay him for his power to let you go. That's it. So she's right. You can get away with anything, literally, but that's not freedom. That's not freedom. That's not... I lived in different countries, and let me tell you, much, much more comfort. It's not even about comfort. It just feels good. When you know that if you don't speed, if you don't break any rules, if you abide law, nothing happens to you. In Russia, you just don't have that feeling because people have power over you. In the USA, they don't. You have power over them. That's, again, in Russia, it's not freedom. It's a hit, thank you. About Russian presidential elections, if only one candidate on the ballot. Well, it's not much I can talk about it. There's one candidate on the ballot, and, well, there will be others, but the small, unknown guys or women or men, unknown to anyone, and obviously no one, that's a joke, okay? Lando Plenty, gonna miss stream tomorrow. Busy, but back Monday. Please do. I hope you come back on Sunday. Will be a good one. On Sunday, I have decided I'm gonna be talking about who's next after Ukraine. Moldova, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan. Who's next? Who is Russia trying to take over next? Rainmaker 39, cannot disagree with that. Basically, John McCain was a pretty smart guy. If T makes Konstantin's nose runny, what the one chip challenge do? What's one chip challenge? What's that? Tea does not make me feel bad. Tea doesn't make my nose run. That's particular tea, rooibos. Perhaps it's the brand. Perhaps it's not the tea itself, not the grass. But perhaps it's the brand. I will try a different one. I'll see how it goes. But you see, I'm fine. It's been hour 23 minutes. And by the way, I think Nightbot will start coming to a play very soon, saying that time is up. A few more questions and we'll go into the prayers. Thermodynamics, Dugin, the nutty philosopher. Dugin just popped out of nowhere. Not too many people take him seriously in Russia. Well, perhaps one person is taking him seriously, but I don't know. Life. Tomorrow I'm on my way to Umeå, northern Sweden. 9-hour ride in front of me at about minus 20 centigrades. Hey, it can be it can be dangerous, like make sure that your car runs, you have good battery and all. Good luck to you, life. Shall we pray for you? So you have a good journey tomorrow. Couple big questions, statements. Johnny, Russian government official, especially the military and Putin's inner circle, are corrupting the taxpayers' money, but the Russian people don't care, don't demand accountability. Yes, you're right. There are many examples of defense ministries with no military expertise. The key point would be whether these defense ministers have direct strategic input in planning operations, which is uncommon. Thank you. Not much to comment here. Restored as if refurbished. Yes, I meant the iPhone was refurbished. China has violated our airspace with a spy balloon. Pentagon's not happy. Lori, ooh boy. Jeffrey S. back with a bang. Mr. Kostya, the pretty one, deserves a brand new iPhone 12 Plus supersized. Well, you know what? She's very happy with 11. Doesn't make much difference to her. She had a small one of the first ones. There's a story behind the last iPhone. I bought her a smaller one, so it's easier to hold in the hand. SE, it was called. It was 2018, and I flew from Moscow to Rostov. I didn't tell Mom anything. I said, Mom, I'm going to miss your birthday. Her birthday is on the 23rd of February. We had a nice celebration last year, and then next day the war started. So I said, Mom, I'm going to miss. Please don't get upset. And she's like, no, it's okay. So, but I told Dad, he went to airport, picked me up, and we just showed up. I bought her an iPhone SE, and we showed up at her door. And she was not expecting me. She was happy. And that was the day when I filmed my first video for the channel, Where Do Regular Russians Live? It's turned out to be quite successful video. I walked around their gated community. I walked around their house. So that was the day when I dropped by unexpectedly, and they gave my mom previous iPhone. It was pretty old, so she deserves a new one. Rainmaker is me, Robert Neely. Had to have an alias. I was getting hate mail and threats for criticizing you. No, who? Who did you get hate mail for criticizing me? I mean, my friends, this is crazy, okay? I hate the hate mail. I hate when someone gets criticized or gets judged, and someone wants to criticize me here. I don't have a problem with that, as long as it's done in a respectful way, and a person says whatever he or she says and proves with facts or explains from the logic and common sense point of view. If that criticism I actually welcome, so Robert, if someone gives you hate mail, that's bogus. Threats? What kind of threats? That sounds crazy. Well, I apologize. I don't understand. Patrick Malad, they're losing $200 million a day, every day in oil. The Russian people are going to begin on the streets. Hello from Monaco. Ooh, nice place. I wish I go there one day. And you're absolutely right. Russia and Russian people are losing lots of money. They lose, I think, more than that every day. But then, what do you expect by attacking the country? That was everyone. Well, I saw it coming. Lots of people saw it coming, and it finally came. And it's here in Russia, there. Dave Strain, Konstantin, what exactly is a decree? Decree is a government paper. It's order. Like, I, President Putin, there's a presidential decree. I, President Putin, order this ministry do such and such, and it's official document. It's like official order. Boom, you must do it, or you'll be fired, or you will be punished. That's what a decree is. Boston Italian here. Lando Plenty. Okay. Agata, maybe it's some added aromatic substance. Yes, perhaps it's the brand. So, but you see, I'm fine now. I'm so happy about that, actually. The brand I just picked up, I saw Rooibos in a big supermarket in Dubai. I picked it up and decided to give it a try. I like the taste very much. It's very mild. It's nice. But I don't like the runny nose. Cyprian, you, all good and nice, Constantine. However, the Russian people have a great responsibility in this war. Who is arguing with that? I keep on telling it every single day for the past 11 months. Every Russian person bears collective responsibility. This is my understanding. I bear collective responsibility. And trust me, it hurts. It's not a good feeling, knowing that your country and you're partially responsible for that, what your country is doing in Ukraine. Juni Vilen, where next? Finland. I do not talk about my personal plans in public. I'm sorry. But I appreciate you asking. Kathy Walchik Holtz, thank you so much. Jeffrey's question, isn't better for SMO and quicker by monies being corrupted? Absolutely, it's better being corrupted. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that they go end up in Dubai rather than other places, So, but in this message, in this stream, I tried to show you how the things inside Russia work. Okay, so you understand what is the foundation of the country, a little bit of history, and what is happening now in the examples, a little bit of statistics. This is what I try. I try to give you my outlook, how I understand how Russia works, and honestly, how it works. I see how it works. It's not too far from the truth. It's the truth itself. So. Who's next? Great choice of topic. A new discussion. Please consider odds for Moldova and Estonia. Agata, I will tell you right now that I think Estonia, there's tiny chance, there's almost non-existing chance that Russia would invade Estonia. Moldova, much bigger chance. But there are cons and pros, and I will give in Sunday's stream. Isabel Ligo, you won't break your Apple computer like we keep seeing Russians do with Warhammers? Russians with Warhammers break their Apple computers? They can't make them repaired anymore, so they show us they don't need them. Well, Isabel, that's plain stupid. Well, go break your car. Go break your house. Go break your, I don't know, what do you have? Not too many have people have boats in Russia, but break everything. Break your TV, break your PlayStation, break anything. If you can't fix it, you don't need it. Go and live in a tent. Rainmaker 39, C1420 and Headshot channels. Russian pensioners are suffering, but they still unquestionably support. You know who? It's baffling to me. Look, you are saying like real things that are happening in Russia. I wonder who criticizes you, and I wonder who threatens you. I know how pensioners live in Russia. I know because my mom is one. Without me, she would be struggling like you wouldn't believe. She makes mere $150 or $130 or something like that. It's enough to cover her utility bill. So basically she can stay inside house, pay her utilities, and have bread and water. And that's it. And anything breaks in the house, she cannot fix it because she doesn't have money. Well, I cover everything. She doesn't need one single penny to spend because I buy her everything and I cover. And she's with me here. She's in Rostov, different places. So, but others who are not so fortunate to have support from their kids, this is just crazy. And you are also right. A lot of them still unquestionably support Putin. Yes, and that's really hard for me to understand too. Joe, Lada, nice sign, huh? Is there a shortage of car parts in Russia? Yes and no. Officially, Western companies do not supply anything to Russia. Unofficially, like I said, my iPhone refurbished that I bought for my mom was supplied through Kazakhstan, much cheaper. It's just one person brought it into Russia and sold it, through a marketplace. And they do the same thing with car parts. They actually bring in suitcases to Russia and sell them through marketplaces, different marketplaces. There are also companies that have built a logistic chain. For example, there's a company in Russia that imports parts for Mercedes, for example. So they set up a company in China, in Kazakhstan. So their Chinese company buys Mercedes parts in bulk and delivers to Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan or Armenia or Azerbaijan. Then another company buys and sells to Russia. So you see, this is a logistic chain. And that makes the whole process much slower and much more expensive. So the car parts have skyrocketed in prices. So I don't think there is a shortage of car parts in Russia. I'm not in Russia. I haven't been in Russia in 5 months. But I don't think there's shortage of anything except for the official car parts they use for manufacturing different devices, semiconductor and stuff like that, in Russia. But like on consumer level, there's not much of a shortage of anything, but the prices have gone up significantly and it's much more difficult to find whatever you're looking for. Like you have to go through marketplaces now. Whether before you just could get to any store and get any part you needed, Taco Cruiser, thank you. Who was the best Soviet leader in your opinion? Mikhail Gorbachev, hands down. He was the best. He was the one who introduced democracy, glasnost, perestroika to Russia. He started moving things. Okay, he opened up Russia for the West. He stopped the Cold War, the Cold War race, the nuclear race. He did so many great things for Russia, for the USSR. And I think his Nobel Prize was very well deserved. He was definitely the man of the decade. So that's the answer. My friends, thank you so much. I would like to finish up today. Tomorrow, the stream for sponsors and patrons. Thank you for coming today. Let's finish the stream with a prayer as usual. And the very end, we had a famous Mainer showed up. Thank you again. Thank you. Let's pray. If you're religious, if you're not, just pray anyway. Wish good to people in the world, in Russia and Ukraine and all over the world. Okay, thank you so much. Dear God, thank you so much for giving us this day, this week. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving us heads over roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding with people that we love and who love us. Thank you for our families. Please help our children. Keep them healthy and safe. And thank you for giving us our children too. Give us wisdom to raise children the way that when they grow up, they make this world a better place and they will become better people than us and they will never fight in wars with each other. Please help stop bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of people who are responsible. Have them wake up from the lethargic sleep. Have them shake off their web that they has been on them for all that time. So they just open their eyes and see what kind of a tragedy has happened over the past 11 months, and they will make the bloodshed stop. Please help all the Ukrainians who have been affected by the bloodshed. Please give them strength, give them recovery, soothe their souls, give them forgiveness and love, please. Send every Ukrainian an angel so they keep people out of harm's way. Not one single drop of blood is shed any longer. And please help Russia too. Send your army of strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Make angels run my country, Russia, and make it good, peaceful, and a good neighbor. Please help those who are traveling. Send them safe travels. Please send safe travels tomorrow to our dear viewer and friend Leif from Sweden, and everyone who is traveling. Please help those who are seeking asylum, running away from danger. Send good people and help their way. Help those who are hungry, who are sick, who are homeless, jobless, and who are losing their faith. Send your light to them. Show them your miracle. Show them your might, and just help them. Surround them with love. Help them with everything they need help with. Please give us peaceful skies above our heads. When everything is nice and peaceful, we don't realize how important to have peace all around. Once peace is broken, we understand, and peace becomes the priority number one. So please send everyone peace in Ukraine. Send peaceful skies where there are no rockets or jet fighter planes or flying. Please send the Ukrainians and all of us the sunshine, blue skies, good weather, and just peaceful life. Please help those and bless those who are helping Ukrainians. I would like to ask for pregnant women who are deciding whether to keep their babies or not. Reach out to them and talk to them so they make the right choice. Thank you for bringing us into this community together and allowing us to pray together. Please help everyone who is praying along with me right now, or just watching us pray. Make everyone's prayer heard and answered, and everyone's wish come true. I would like to reach out and ask for a few people who need your help. They are Wayne, Shirley, Debbie, Jen Allen, Finola, Lars Henrik's mother, the Highwayman, Essie from the Scottish Isles, Outlander and family, Choriz and family, Lars, Susan Marshall, Beulah, Buzz Salmon, Janice Burgess, Alvin's mother, Theresa D. Marsha Tucker, please send her strength, and please have her dad rest in peace. Garcia Castellanos, Terry Carter, Joe McMahon, Meta Spencer, Deanna and family, Bree's friend, Albina Fell, Daniel, Pamela J. Please help with eye surgery and send her quick recovery. Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Galina, Igor, Karen from Maine, Janine, Michael Milkowitz, Marlene, Paul Binns, Richard, Mallory M., Dirk Misler, James Rhodes, Terry, Brittany S., Lars Henrik, Hannah, Children, Richard Burris, Angelica Life, and Scan Family's grandson, Grace, Barb, Randolph, Nelly, Arkady, Yuri from Mykolaiv, and everyone in Ukraine who is without heat and electricity. Please help them. Harry's family, Merlinda's niece, Ian, James, Doug, Rafaela from, Anna, Priscilla, Michelin, King Nero, Gaby Hyman, Donald, Deborah, Lisa's son, Jade, Allison Dave Moyers, Terry Scrugg, Janice Maureen M., and her sister, Mr. Hanson, Heidi, Bob, Tony, Kayleen, Rob, Umil, Jennifer, Matt, Ashley and family, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church, Our Savior Lutheran Church, that is called, Lisa Cumrian, Jacob, Adam Oliver, Treasure, Kyle's wife, Grace Philosophy, our dear friend, Maggie, Carmen's sister, Vladislav and his father Sergey, Susie Myler, Gina Wayfarer, AMS paramedic Liz, Karen from Maine, Lori Miles' husband, Sherry, Layla, Philip's mom, and a few children I'd like to ask specifically. They are Cadence, Irina, Maverick, Sebastian, Coulter, Theo, Maddie, Ansley, and Karine Vassura's niece, who's 2 years old. Please help them, send them recovery, and give strength to their families, please. And I also would like to ask for all children in Ukraine who have been affected by this terrible tragedy, and children in Russia. Thank you so very much, our dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. My friends, thank you so much for coming. Again, thank you for giving me a chance, for watching, listening, asking questions, supporting. You're awesome and you rock. I will see sponsors and patrons tomorrow during the live stream. My way of thanking you. There might be a makeup live stream in the morning, Tashkent time, around noon, and definitely there will be a message on who's next on Sunday. Thank you so very much. You're awesome. You rock and roll. And Carthago delenda est.